Okay, no more waiting. No more teasing. No more anything until we get this draft done. The third annual Patriots Scrimmage Draft on the Pats Interference Podcast. The longest running tradition, possibly the oldest running tradition. But whenever I have this draft, there's only one person I want to see across from me. He's nodding right now. He's actually heard the spiel before because we tried to get this off the ground on Monday. And my Wi-Fi said, you know what? I'm taking the day off. So here we are back, Wednesday the 3rd. The man I refer to is Nick Fitzy Stevens, where when we get into the 13th round here, is we draft two teams separately from the Patriots roster, and we need to crack jokes or have something to say about Nick Leverett. You are the person I need to save me on that. One Nick to another.
Oh, Leverett, isn't that that's the place you pass through before you get to Chelsea, right?
Yeah, when I'm on my way to the beach, you know.
That's French for that town where Night Shift Brewing is. Leverett.
Yes, and a distillery, and I want to say axe throwing. True story. As we detour immediately, because what else can I do on this podcast but not keep my attention or the rundown?
A guy and all. It's. I mean, you are not doing due deference to your audience if you're recording a podcast talking football 3 weeks out from camp before the 4th of July, unless there are more digressions than there are picks made in the scrimmage draft.
Good, and we will get to that in a second, I promise. Plus, some Jahlani Tavai extension talks, which, shocker, did not warrant emergency podcast, but here we are. The third date I ever took my wife on was actually to Everett, and we did the Night Shift Brewery. We went axe throwing, and then finished because she's first of all, because we Ubered, and second of all, because she is into whiskey and bourbon at a distillery there. Awesome date. Came back.
Keeper.
There was a whole festival in the North End where I lived at the time. Just great night. The only issue was, as we went from the Night Shift Brewery to then, and this is 2019, to the axe throwing, the address I had was for this old warehouse where everything around it was dead. Like machines, probably a few animals. It's dark. She's like, okay, this is where I meet my end. He leads me into this deep back alley and warehouse, but there's nothing going on.
I've seen the Hostel movies. I know how this goes.
And it turns out axe throwing, which I was not doing in her, she might have thought at the time, was just around the corner. So we kept walking, found it, had a lovely time. But anyway, shout out to Everett for the super date.
Shout out to Everett indeed. Isn't it also fascinating, by the way, that there have been more injuries in skee ball parlors and batting cages than there have been in axe throwing, parlors since they became in vogue like 5 years ago?
You sound like an axe throwing lobbyist with stuff like that, just like right off the top. Is that true though?
Funny thing is, I have never been axe throwing. I've gone to arcades and entertainment centers where they have like inflatable axe throwing that the kids try to do. Or like, like there's those dart sets where like the darts have like metal tips and then there's like 5,000 plastic pointy bits and like the dart squeezes in there. So there's actually no refined piece like jabbing itself into cork.
Yes.
They've done things like that before. But now that one of my boys is 11, he always sees those things. He's like, Dad, I don't want to do this. Can we go real axe throwing? And I go, here's a real answer. No.
It's a good time. I would buy that if only if there were the same number of injuries as you could have at skee ball. Like that business is just not getting off the ground, right? In addition to signing all the liability and everything. When you introduced your son there, though, to the conversation, the way you said it made it sound like you had added a new friend who was 11 years old who gave you an excuse to go to the batting cage. It's like, yeah, one of my boys now, I picked up this kid at Chuck E. Cheese. He's 11. He's awesome. We do everything my wife hates. It's sick.
Oh, come on. No one picks him up at Chuck E. Cheese now. All the entertainment complexes, like the Tom Brady of entertainment complexes out in Marlboro there. Apex. Have you been out there?
No, I'm not.
You could lose days out in that place, dude. Electric Italian sports cars, 2 full-service restaurant and bars with every great local IPA on draft, a bowling alley, birthday parties, an axe throwing bar, a kids play center, 500 game arcade, bumper cars, laser tag, it's everything. No, dude, Marlboro, it is it. I want them to, I'm just sitting here. After all, I'm just a boy standing outside of Apex asking them to sponsor his podcast. Totally. It is such a good time.
Well, hey, if you get more 11-year-old friends that might really work out for you, they'd be willing to have them on the show.
I'll tell you what, I'll show up in my van that says free candy on the outside and drop them off at your house.
Works every time. That's funny because I'm now doing the summer basic date thing. We're doing mini golf and ice cream tonight with my wife out in Dedham, and I think I just might have to go to this Apex anyway.
It's a hike because it's a little bit further out in Marlboro, but there may be no greater date, and you're not doing it just because you saw them do it in the Karate Kid. That like to me, mini golf and ice cream never gets old. And the
Oh
ice
no.
cream afterwards has to be from like a local dairy or farm, has to be homemade. Let's quick because it feels like this is the exact time to have another digression. Let's do an emergency power ranking. Top 3 flavors at like a New England homemade ice cream parlor.
Okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying I am a basic eater. Like, God bless me with the simplest tongue that he's ever bestowed upon anyone. So I'll start number 3. I just
I don't
want
know who's producing, but can someone save that drop, please?
number 3, French vanilla. And I'm not going to try to rationalize it. French vanilla is it's different from regular vanilla. It's not. It's the same spectrum of boring. But I want something simple. I want something easy. The next one I would go with, and this is not as New England, but the number one is, I promise, is going to be some sort of chocolate peanut butter swirl. Again, classic, bland, but
Mm-hmm.
get you where you want to go. Number 1 with a bullet, and this is New England themed, and it's a little close to number 2, Moose Tracks. It's over.
Iconic flavor. Anything that has broken pieces of like pretzel or potato chip or something savory in there like that, mixed with peanuts or chocolate, whatever. Like I am all for. I don't want to overdo it and go like I don't want to walk into a Cold Stone Creamery and just be like an Eastern European supervillain and be like, yes, all of it inside now. But I do love when they go crazy like that. Yet it's still at the same time. More often than not, I'll have that at home um,
Okay.
for some reason. But when I go to an ice cream parlor, I try to keep it simple. So here's the top 3 for me.
Yep.
Number 3, checking in today, a recent addition because my kids, especially the older one, the 11-year-old, loves mint chocolate chip. I'm going to go with Grasshopper, which is cookies and cream with mint ice cream.
Oh, interesting. Isn't that a
Outstanding,
you ever go to French's?
outstanding flavor.
I guess the Monster Mash was a sundae built on the mint chocolate chip, but that's where mine
Right.
runs when you come to that.
Yeah, like Moose Tracks, big dig when Brigham's used to make that outstanding flavor as well. But that, just like hope for a traffic-free Boston, is long since gone. So no reason to keep pecking at that.
Was that the point
Number
of that
2,
20, 25 years ago?
yeah, exactly. Number 2, Almond Joy.
Solid.
The mixture of coconut and almonds and chocolate chips into the ice cream together. I know some people don't like coconut. More often than not, I do feel like a nut. Absolutely love it. And number 1, good old fashioned cookies and cream. I think that is the GOAT. It used to be, if I get gelato, I'll get a stracciatella. That's chocolate chip. Great. But chocolate chip's always around and forever. But like cookies and cream, it never does me wrong, no matter who makes it, when I can get it. And especially if it's homemade and full fat. Oh, long live dairies.
I was going to say that feels like a lot of overlap, 1 to 3, but I trust you. At least you have a type, and you didn't say French vanilla, which one of us did.
So, or black raspberry, because no thanks.
No. Cookie dough, OLI, outside looking in?
Yeah, no.
It's more of a home ice cream to me than post mini golf.
Yeah. What are you going to do with a whole sleeve of chocolate chip, pre-baked chocolate chip cookies chopped up into your vanilla? You're looking at a 700 calorie scoop right after the mini. Now you got to go play 5 more.
Why do you think I slaved away for 9 holes of mini golf and burn off 90 calories, not to put it right back on tenfold? Come on.
You also, I don't know how much you play regular golf, but
once a summer.
Tell me if you have twice a summer.
Once.
Okay. To me, in my world, if I were the chancellor of all sports, as Bill Simmons says, the sports czar of America, I would start building 14-hole golf courses. 18 is too many, but 9 is never enough. 14 is perfect.
I think the folks that live might take you up on that. I don't know where things stand, aside from last time I checked, they were on the CW with the TV rating that started with a 0 point blank. So that might be their solution.
Well, shorten it up with a time. We have a pitch. How about that? Let's do this also while we're sports czaring Callahan. Okay. Pitch clock and golf.
Oh, I need more time to chew on that. Also, I don't think anyone should respect my opinion on golf, because I just said I watch 2 tournaments a year. I play once a year, and that's about it. But I do have a golf trip / bachelor party I've been invited to in late August, which why I go to Charleston, South Carolina any other time of year except for late August, I don't know. But we'll see how I fare for what's supposed to be 3 days of
The
playing golf.
what the steam room at the Y isn't
I
available,
know.
so you're gonna go to Jesus.
Yeah. Story time. A couple weeks ago, juggling the Celtics, this podcast, Patriots coverage for the Herald. I said, why not? Let's add the Red Sox too. My cousin was in town, so were the Yankees, so we went to a game at Fenway. Not an easy ticket to get, as you might imagine. So what did we do? We went to Game Time, because Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball where you can get tickets faster and easier than ever. And believe me, I hunt like a parking spot that's worth the wait. And prices on Game Time for these tickets actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. They have killer last-minute deals, all in pricing, including those pesky fees, plus views from your seat. And there's this, my favorite part, their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes all the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets, and if you find a lower price elsewhere, they will credit you 110%. Again, 110% of the difference. So whether your family's here or you just want to catch a game this summer, the Sox are good. Let's admit it might not be true for long. Go to Game Time, browse through the app, find those last-minute deals, look at the view from your seat, and again, the lowest price guaranteed, not to mention flash deals, some zone deals. Everything is down there in the app. So go to Game Time now. Download the app, create an account, and use code CLNS. I did this. I got $20 off my own podcast, my own ad read with the Game Time app. Terms do apply. Again, all you have to do, download the Game Time app, create an account, and redeem the code CLNS for 20% off. Download Game Time today for last-minute tickets and the lowest price guaranteed. Anyway, okay, so we've hit ice cream, we've hit golf, we've hit Marlboro Mass. We have not hit the Patriots scrimmage draft. For the folks who did not listen to my breakdown of this, I want to say 3 weeks ago with our male fan, Gary Langley, who came on and said, hey, I've got this great idea. You guys should draft 2 teams from the Patriots roster. I did this with a buddy of mine. And I waited and I waited and I waited. I said, Gary, I've done that twice and we're doing it a third time. You are in luck. Here's how it goes. Fitzy and I have assembled our own big boards before this episode. The goal is to build the best team you can following a snake draft format. He goes, I go, he goes, I go, for a theoretical scrimmage that will open Patriots training camp in 3 weeks, okay? And so if you want to visualize this, it's basically like Fitzy and I show up on the field, Gerard Mayo blows the whistle, the whole roster's there, and then Fitzy and I pick players like recess back in the day. I'll take you. And so we're going to go 22 rounds. And that will be 11 players on offense, 11 players on defense. And the goal here is not to just name the best players on the roster, something I did last week. Very simple. This is about talent. It's about upside. It's about positional value. And it's about positional depth. So the example I gave when we tried to get this off the ground and it crashed and burned on Monday was Mike Onwenu, far and away their best offensive tackle. That's a big position. You can bet he will go sometime in the first 3 to 5 picks. And then I did this because you granted me the first pick. Yes. Have you changed your mind since then? Would you like the first pick?
Nope.
Okay.
Very comfortable where I am.
Okay. Yeah. You had a pleasant surprise is not strong enough. This was like a pleasant delight for you when I announced with the first pick in the 2024 third annual Patriots scrimmage draft. Team Callahan selects Christian Gonzalez, number 1 overall. I want this corner not because I think he will finish the season as the Patriots' best player, and he's already firmly in the top 10 now. But I look at this and go, okay, whether you take Drake May or I take Drake May or Jacoby Brissett, whomever it is, and whatever receivers you take, whatever receivers I take, there is a huge mismatch, whomever is across or Christian Gonzalez. This is not the, Revis is over on the left, I can only throw over the middle and the right. But there's a potential, given the gap between his talent and the receivers, that I think he could, for a time, shut down that side of the field. So it's not only just the talent. It's not that he plays the top 3 most valuable position in football. It's that I think he's going to create mismatches for you that are going to be problematic when we have this scrimmage.
Yeah, listen, we only got but a tease last season, 3 1/4 games, but what a 3 1/4 games they were. He looked every bit the part beyond just a rookie last year. Put on the tape again of him shutting down Tyreek Hill with that great pick in game 2. And you saw flashes of what everybody saw, which was an elite lockdown, dare I say, shutdown cornerback with the length, size, speed, and strength to keep up with all the elite wide receiver ones out there now proliferating in the AFC East, AFC, and NFL overall. John Jones, who now I'm going to have to hope to snag in a round sooner than I anticipated to be my top overall corner, said that he sees top 3 NFL cornerback overall potential in Gonzo. The only thing is we just need him to stay healthy because, as I mentioned the other day before the Wi-Fi kicked out, one of the big issues is going to be if he can actually play a whole season and not just get hurt 3.25 games in, 7 games, 10 games. Hopefully durability, maybe some muscular strength has been added to that frame, because if he does get hurt, then we're going to have to go back to the Cole Strange pick and say, damn it, why didn't you guys take Trent McDuffie? He's durable. He's already won 2 Super Bowls. That would be a completely different issue, but we'll save that for a What If Wednesday podcast over on Six Rings. I do also want to mention Callahan, because I think since we grab asked for the opening 10 minutes of the podcast, a reminder to the audience, we don't take specialists.
Yes, thank you for this.
As much as I would like to take Bryce Behringer mostly for his golf game, let alone his right-legged boomstick, that's not necessary. We're not here for the Chad Ryland versus Joey Slide debate, and I think that's going to be a fascinating camp battle. And we both get Drake May, correct?
Yeah, the way I put it last time was we both have 2 good quarterbacks. There's some friendship here that would prevent a back-to-back. Hey, I'm going to take Jacoby Brissett, then I'm going to take Drake May. Haha, you're stuck with. What'd you call him? Not Sergeant Bailey Zappi, Corporal?
Yeah, PFC Bailey Zappi.
PFC Bailey. It sounds like you got demoted last time we made that reference during the podcast.
Ensign Zappi.
Yeah, he also got demoted in real life. Also getting married, I think, today. So mazel tov. Hats off to Billy Zappi. But yeah, look, we both get Drake May. Let's not do the quarterbacks. Let's not the specialists. We're building out the rest of the roster. So we will have one backup that you get to choose, understanding that, Drake May is not going to be drafted, but he'll fill out one of the 22 for both of us. Automatic QB. My favorite spot, the only spot I could play is a slow-footed high schooler playing touch football as we continue to make digressions back in the day.
AQB, yes, you know me. All right, I'll go with my first 2 picks here in the 2024 third annual Pats Interference scrimmage draft presented by somebody. I'm gonna go wham wham. I think they're the 2 best players on offense, and I think not only are they both leaps and bounds better than anybody else that plays their position, but also given what speaking of AQB, how about what AVP said a while ago? Running the football is key to scoring points and winning in the NFL. So I am going to go with my first 2 picks, back-to-back snake style, Ramondre Stevenson and Mike Onwenu.
I love the Onwenu pick. He was in consideration for me at number 1. And the only reason I didn't is because I think your individual impact as a tackle obviously is lesser than that of a corner out in an island.
He's such a good tackle, they're going to maybe play him at guard.
They might even clone him. Yeah, God, if they play it at guard, that would be a different conversation. Okay, so you went Stevenson first, and then Onwenu, which doesn't really matter because I was not interrupted. Again, we're going snake draft. Onwenu is there. Now, I am curious because you think Stevenson is that much better than Antonio Gibson.
I do. Okay. And I think he's got better hands. He's better between the tackles. He was your leading receiver 2 years ago with 69. Or a second leading receiver with 69 catches. Jacoby Myers was first with 83, I think. He kind of does it. He just got paid like someone they're going to run the entire offense through, and there's going to be pivotal. We may see different wide receivers emerge as a top threat. For all I know, Jaheim Bell may take over and become no, he's not going to be, but you'll see different receivers emerge potentially. You'll see people shifted all over the line. May soon supplant Brissett. One thing's for sure, as long as he's healthy, the focal point of the offense and RB1, who's going to be used in a number of ways, is Ramondre. And I need those points. I just need the consistency above all.
Okay. I'm not here to dispute that I think Stevenson is that much better. I just look at this and go, the gap between them is smaller than I think I find at offensive tackle. You could argue Pop Douglas to some of the receivers, but we'll see. And I feel okay about Antonio Gibson in this scrimmage draft because, again, I'm not filling out a starting NFL roster. We are splitting one of the league's bottom 5 rosters in half and trying to make it make sense. That said, I have 5 tiers for all these players we've divvied up. There are still 3 out of the 4 players. There are 2 out of the 4 players that I had in tier 1, the blue chip or upside for blue chip. Gonzalez and Onwenu are gone. That leaves me Christian Barmore and Matt Judon. And my only hesitancy is that I would then, and I'm just going to think out loud. Well, basically, I only have 1 pick, so this doesn't matter. We're going to go 1 for 1 here, back the rest of the way.
Okay.
And I will take one of them because I just cannot justify Chukwuemeka Okorafor with the 4th overall pick on this roster. But
you don't even know if he's going to be on the effing roster by September 8th.
It's going to take Calvin Anderson or Tyrone Wheatley Jr. playing outside of themselves, I think, to bump him off.
You stop drinking before you press the record button next time we get together.
Okay.
Anyway, the
point here is this is where the issue of positional value and the depth gets us into trouble. Because if you take the top 2 tackles for one of the worst offensive lines in the league, I'm only throwing screens, slants, okay, and running the ball. That's all I can really do. But I can't pass up Matt Judon at outside linebacker, 4-time Pro Bowler, one time the only blue chip guy on the roster. There are questions now given his age, injury history, all that, but I'm going to add him. Feel very good about it. Matt Judon, come on down.
So funny because the guy that I was debating I was originally going to go Ramondre Barmore, but then I decided on when it was so much better than everyone else. But after last season, when he showed up and went from big boy to man, I became a Christian Barmore fan, and he was justly rewarded with that big 4 for 92 in the offseason. If we get shades of the way he just devoured the Denver Broncos in the first half on Christmas Eve, on a semi-regular basis, I think we will have a force to be reckoned with and somebody we'll be proud of as the Patriots try to stay alive with a running game and defense until the offense finds its footing. So I will gladly take Christian Barmore, defensive tackle, with my 3rd overall pick.
Yeah, he was in contention for me at 4. And here to recap, and we'll do this frequently, the folks on YouTube will be able to see this. Number 1 overall was Christian Gonzalez, followed by Ramondre Stevenson at 2, Michael Wendo at 3 to Team Fitzy. I took Judon at 4. Christian Barmore goes 5. Whatever exercise you're doing this, at least the 4 of the 5, and maybe people are higher than Stevenson than I am as far as this draft goes. But I think so far we've gone pretty chalk. You would agree?
Pretty close to chalk. And the thing about Judon, while some may say like, yeah, well, he got hurt last year and, he wants it. It is a contract year. Also, look at the way the sack numbers fell off last year. Once Judon got hurt as well, there was a ripple effect felt across the entire defensive line, throughout the entire defense. And, he wants that last big deal. And if he's 95% of what he used to be, you're going to get max effort red sleeves this season. So can't go wrong with that pick.
Are you worried about him in the contract?
No, because I think he knows he's going to get paid one way or another. And I'm okay. Like they re-signed Tavai yesterday before, between when we tried to record this and when we actually record this. And that's another one of those people on the outside type of, people on the outside of Pat's Nation saying, geez, for a team that went 4-13, they sure are bringing back a lot of the guys that helped them have the worst record in the NFL last year. If Belichick couldn't draft so much, how come you keep signing all of his players, Wolf? I hate both of those takes. I think they're terrible.
Yep.
And while we're not here for this now, you can jump over to Six Rings, where John Lyons and I the other day outlined why we think the Patriots could surpass their win total expectation of 4.5 for this particular season. The defense is going to be good, and not just because I'm parroting Mina Kimes and other people that are big believers. Ben Solak tweeted yesterday that the Patriots roster is way better than people give it credit for. And Tavai is another one of those super unsexy, fundamental Belichick style pieces that just goes out there, hits hard, is usually in place, and does a little bit of everything that you need. I think, given, was it 7 or 8 one-score games last year? If you just have that Barnwell-style pendulum swing back for half of them as well, there's a very good chance your New England Patriots are going to win more than 4.5 games this year, no matter who we draft or who's under center.
Okay, so you don't seem worried at all. That started with Matt Judon's contract and ended in bad takes and over-under win totals and turnover luck.
That's basically how every radio segment where I host on EEI goes.
Podcast.
So you're welcome.
I'm only going to take a small bite out of that. The Judon stuff I'm not worried about. The reason I bring it up, A, is obviously he still doesn't have an extension done. He's heading into a contract year. Second thing is, when I was looking up the Tavai numbers, which I saw yesterday, Tuesday, when the news broke, shout out Mike Reese and Adam Schefter, is that the extension was 3 years, $21 million, 15 guaranteed for Tavai. And the first article I saw was from a blog called Musket Fire, and the headline was something to the effect of why this was a big mistake. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let's see what the rationale is. And skimming through it, granted, I found that the issue was not really about Tavai or the money. It was a message to Matt Judon, who still doesn't have a deal, who seems to be waiting around. To which I would say the Patriots still have a ton of money to give him. Some extensions take longer than others. He might not get a 3-year extension or even a 2-year extension. But I think there's time for that to happen. And he's someone who's also said, I don't want to do the hold-in thing that I did last year. So it feels more a matter of time to me. Now, if we're a full week into training camp and he is holding in or limps off barely with kind of a gimp, then I might be more worried. But for now, this did not put a dent in at all the Patriots' big plans financially or their ability to re-sign any more players that they want to keep. which again, to the one of the bad takes that you would say, they're signing the good ones. Devontae Parker, see you. Trent Brown, loaf your way out of town. Gone. Mac Jones, obviously, see you. So this is not bring everyone back and hope for the best. It's take the good, leave the bad, and move forward. Okay, speaking of taking the good.
Take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
So
yeah, sorry, the Daniil Hunter money is not the kind of money Judon is going to get. That's probably what he wants, and it's a very important decision for, like, they have re-signed guys that are getting second contracts with a lot of upside still. This would be Judon's third contract. This is much more, this could be potentially treacherous. It's a lot trickier at this particular point in time. So do you just give him a blank load of money and say, ball your ass out in 24 and 25, and at that point, if you want to keep playing, we'll figure it out. Otherwise, sayonara, adios, and thanks for the red sleeves? Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. Again, I think there's time. There's obviously a lot of money. There's incentive on both sides to get it done. It's just a matter of what does Judon value. And I walked through this with the Godshout deal last week, talking about there are a lot of different avenues here where they could just guarantee, and this doesn't apply to Judon, but Godshout, all of the money in his base salary and say, just play it out. If you want to hit free agency, fine, we'll be here. We got a ton of money. We can match an offer. We can give you 1 year and do a partial guarantee this year and a partial next year, or 2, and really spread it out if you want. So what does he value? The immediacy of the guaranteed money now, which is totally reasonable, or long-term security, spreading out those guarantees, or maybe he wants all of it guaranteed, but there's got to be a give and take. And I think that's the big question here, that maybe they're close, maybe they're not. Rondre Stevenson was close. We didn't know it until he told us. It's a whole new world of Foxboro. So,
yeah,
moving on.
Exactly. And he got exactly the deal he should have. 3/4 of Josh Jacobs. Perfect.
Yeah. So in a little while, we'll all be boning up on fantasy football. Where can I get Rondre Stevenson? Is Hunter Henry finally going to break out? Like Callahan's been saying so for years. And what about Drake May? Jalen Polk, Pop Douglas, Javon Baker? Well, until then, you can play fantasy and win with Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports in America, because unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. What you do is you pick more or you pick less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can get in on the daily action today with your friends and become part of the Prize Pick community. What that means is you and a bunch of your friends can win up to 100 times your money with as few as 4 correct picks. That means turning $10 into 1,000. And if you want promotions, always a good idea, Prize Picks has you covered every single week. You can pick the player's stat projections on Tuesday for a lineup bonus, or you get your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Friday. So with basketball over, it's all on to baseball, and we've got women's basketball still. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, AJ Wilson, you know the names. Follow them, play Prize Picks, and win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. I've told you this before. I do this with Sox games, whether I'm at Fenway or at home. So pick the player, pick the stat types, more or less, and that's it. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, you put in 100, they give you 100. If you download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS, that's CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. I'm going to take a risk here. I already announced that I'm risking losing both of the top offensive tackles for a team with a bad offensive line, but I am not going to take Chukwuma Okorafor here. The player I am going to take, because you mentioned it, we just have to score points. Hunter Henry. I think there's a good way to describe Austin Hooper, and I did it on TV the other day. Store brand Hunter Henry. But this is a guy that I think is due to bounce back. There's a meaningful gap here. I need someone in the middle of the field. There's better depth at receiver. I'll wait on those. Give me Hunter Henry.
You snaked me. That's probably not the first time it's going to happen, but I was thinking the entire time, no matter whenever Drake May gets in there, a quarterback's best friend, and this is why I wanted them to not pursue Calvin Ridley as much as they should have pursued Keenan Allen, is somebody who's always in the right spot, always has sure hands, and is as dependable as sun and moonshine. And that's why I think Hunter Henry was such a great re-sign at 3 for $27 as well. The guy loves being here. Guy catches just about everything thrown his way. And sometimes even on the right night, he catches multiple touchdown passes in front of Al Michaels and a ribeye steak on Thursday Night Football from Bailey Zappi. So great pick. I think Drake May and Hunter Henry are going to be fast friends, just like I believe Jacoby Brissett or Drake May, probably not Joe Milton, maybe at times during the preseason, Bailey Zappi, are going to be best friends with someone whose highlights continue to light up the Patriots Twittosphere Even just yesterday, when something about him just running routes and, high stepping through drills made it look like he was running at double speed. So long as Troy Brown can teach him how to get down, then Pop Douglas is going to be a fixture for days, if not years to come for the New England Patriots. I don't think 85 catches for 970 yards and 4 touchdowns is out of the question this year for him. Maybe even over 1,000 yards. He just has to take care of the mentals, as Marshawn likes to say, because he did get dinged up on the dome twice last year, and that could be an issue. So as long as he's quick and they teach him to get down, I think he could have a monster season, because we know how pivotal and important the third down back used to be. Is why you're kind of leaning into Gibson, I guess, a little bit over Stevenson. But more importantly, this kind of offense needs the check down, the dump off, and the quick hit guy, and that's Pop Douglas.
Pop Douglas, good pick. He is was one of 5 players I had left in tier 2, which is above average starter. Or guys like, hey, I need to grab him now, or he's going to be gone soon. I have said this before. I'm really concerned about that third concussion. And I don't think it's been said enough for a guy who came in 6th-round pick, 5'8", 5'9", 180 pounds. I think he'll be better. I think he'll be sharper. I think his ability to separate, accelerate, and get yards after the catch are all number one among this receiving core, which again is not saying much. It's like when Fox Sports 1 was doing the fastest growing debate show on television. And it's like, yeah, it's been a month. And that's all you can say because the ratings kind of suck. Like, best among the Patriots receivers, not a great compliment, but that's what he is. And that's what we need. And that's what you value. And I think that's why that made that a good pick. There was one other thing I was going to say. I think it was Tavai related, so we'll wait until one of us grabs him. I can't risk this anymore. I'm going to take Chukwuma Okorafor. He is my left tackle. I am not going to deal with a 2-front war off each edge for Drake May. Oh, this is what I was going to ask. It wasn't Tavai related. You mentioned, and this is unserious, Drake May is going to have a fast best friend in Hunter Henry. We know that Hunter Henry had a fast best friend in Mac Jones, partly because they were neighbors. If you're Drake May, and forget the numbers in the house and whatever the interest rates are, would you move into Mac's old house and be neighbors with Hunter Henry again?
Immediately. Okay. Absolutely.
Really?
Oh, and I think they'll get along. And I think they'll get along great.
Hanging around? No, nothing.
Mac's house is open. It's available, isn't it? Did Mac own it, or was it a rental? I don't know. As a homeowner, I'd advise everyone rent. Homeowning is a pain in the ass. Don't. It's not worth it. Rent.
But you wouldn't have any issue going into the old QB's house, new QB here, all that.
Nope.
Okay.
Not a single bit. I would hope that maybe even Ty Law can give me that sweet built-in custom TV that he gave to Dave Nugent and Tom Brady, as we saw in episode 1 of the Dynasty.
Excellent.
All right, so you're going with Chuck Okorafor because you need a left tackle.
Yeah.
I hope that works out as well. I don't know. I don't have the confidence. I'll roll a little bit later with some linemen that I'm going to take upside gambles on. But what I can't take is a gamble on not having a cornerback 1. So give me John Jones. Okay. Opposite Christian Gonzalez is my CB1 on Team Fitzy.
Are we not talking enough about John Jones? I mean, and I don't say this as he's underrated as a player. I think he's properly rated. We saw what happened when he was CB1 for a while in 2022, getting smoked by the best receivers, which makes him the best receivers, but capable inside now. He's just on the wrong side of 30. He's, I would say, publicly fairly bland, smiley guy, good guy, great guy, but not going to make any headlines. The name itself is a little boring, Jonathan Jones, and he's just a good guy. You know what he is. But are we missing something here? It's his last season.
It's probably his last season as well, because there are some other guys that I think the Pats are, who else do you have? Well, you got Bolden, Jones, Alex Austin as well, who's I don't think the Patriots are going to pay him the money they paid him. And my top offseason priority in terms of free agency was finding a way to get L'Jarius Sneed, because I think if you were going to lean into your defense, he would have been worth a 4th this year and a 4th next year, or a 3rd this year as well. Now I know who they end up taking in the 3rd this year.
Caden Wallace.
I was between. Was it Layden Robinson?
No, Caden Wallace, and then Layden Robinson started the 4th round.
Yeah, I would gladly have taken L'Jarius Sneed over Caden Wallace for now, at least, or from what I've heard, just because I think he's so good. And if you had Gonzo and Sneed, you could have said, okay, we know we're not going to score a lot for a while, but one thing we're not going to make it easy to do is throw a football pass against us.
I do think the draft capital was more prohibitive in their eyes than what the money was, which was expensive. Don't get me wrong. He's very well paid by the Tennessee Titans right now.
$19 million a
season. Who just have all of the members of the Patriots fans free agent wish list down there from DeAndre Hopkins to L'Jarius Sneed to Calvin
Yeah,
Ridley.
what is up with that, by the way? The Titans should just call themselves, they're the anti-Pats.
Well, here's the thing. If they, and the Pats were not huge fans of Will Levis when he came into the building. Or the vibes are a little off, I should say. So it's not like they're living an alternate reality to what the Patriots could have done. But what they are going to do is find out very quickly, in a way, whether Will Levis has it or not. Like, the surrounding roster with him is not great, but as far as the weapons go, defensive pillars and tentpole players, him, Sneed, Jeffrey Simmons, like, they're not that far off. So if he's got the goods in year 2 and year 3, they'll know. If not, they have to rebuild and have all of these what will then be bad contracts for a team that I believe would go into a full-on rebuild. So they're like they're giving it to you now. This is the quick sugar, immediate gratification kind of team with a young QB. The Patriots are behind them, but we also never saw them go in that way with Mac Jones. So we'll see.
Yeah, agreed. I'm just a fan, and the way that I saw him ragdoll Tyreek Hill in that winter wildcard game was just something I won't forget anytime soon.
No.
And knowing how Gonzo played him so well last year, I thought, Waddle and Hill would sleep differently if they knew they had to deal with Gonzo and Sneed twice a year.
Yes, it
just saying.
Okay, I'm
All
taking
right.
Kyle Duggar. I think this is arguably too long for Kyle Duggar to have remained on the board. But again, this is where the element of positional depth comes in. Jabril Peppers had a great year. You could argue the two are interchangeable within 5 to 10% of each other's production and play and role in the team. I just look at a guy who is now being paid as the 6th, 7th highest safety in the league and go, I think his best year might be this year. I love him joining Christian Gonzalez in the secondary, Matt Judon up front. I feel very, very good about kind of the backbone of my defense right now.
And the backbone of my defense is somebody who wakes up every day and has a bowl of violence for breakfast. I will take Jabril Peppers following Kyle Duggar.
All right, very good. Anything to add on him?
I freaking love his game so much. I wish he was healthy enough and didn't have any knee concerns based around what happened a couple of years ago as well, because back in the day when he was also a punt returner and could have been given consideration Charles Woodson style for some more offensive versatility. I just love the fact that he's an athlete, a gamer, hits like a freight train, has absolutely no regrets about it. And nor does he have any regrets about it being honest about last year's team. You lucky we ass. How can I not take a guy who gave us maybe the tagline of the 2023 season?
I joked on Twitter about printing those shirts, and I should have come to you because I can't do that as objective journalist. Maybe if I was just podcast host Andrew Callahan.
There's nothing objective about me, although I still get C&Ds from the Patriots every time I ever try.
Do you think those?
No, but that's one of those things where, like, we probably should have printed them and then just, donate all the money to Children's Hospital or something.
Yes, and that I would have been 1,000,000% behind. But it's just the areas are too gray, and everyone was a little annoyed anyway because we all had to watch and suffer, and some folks were rooting. I was not, but still a largely miserable experience that was the 2023 Patriots season. Do you think those would have sold at all?
I think those days are long gone. And like, you lucky we ass will be irrelevant by 2/3 of the way through the season. It'll be more like we're trying.
We're trying. I hope there's a shirt though or a quote this year. We're gonna get a lot more quotes. I will tell you that. You lucky we asked, which was not also a quote he gave on the record, but had to then answer for because the NFL Films blew up his spot. So that's fine. All right, I have logged in all of our picks. You can see them if you're watching on YouTube. Please do. If you're not, subscribe, Spotify, Apple, leave us a review. It's been a while. I have one player left in tier 2, and I don't think you're going to guess him. And there's really no good way for me to hint. He did get an extension recently. So if you want to take a stab.
David Andrews?
Yes. Well done, sir.
Yep.
And this is not because he and I shared a few beverages on a boat, and I wrote about that story. And again, please go read it. It took a long time to put together. It's because you want to talk about drop-offs. Who's the Patriots backup center?
I think it's supposed to be Jake Andrews because that's what he was drafted to play in the 4th round of last year. And I don't think it was because of naming symmetry. I think they just want another one of those big Midwestern dudes that can snap the ball and hold the ground. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't City So get a little run in minicamp at center?
Did. And
Mafi did.
Yeah, So's pretty much been entrenched at left guard. A wise move, his career college position, as I had that mistaken for a few episodes this year. But no, So's at left guard, and David Andrews is at center. I think their extension is not only, hey, you're a captain, we want you around. You're not exactly fading so far in your career, but Jake Andrews might just get cut at the end of August. And so we need a guy to be here this year and possibly next year.
All right. Now we're going to start getting into the, and I know we'll probably expedite our selections.
Yeah.
Although I could just sit here and debate why we took who we took, where we took them all day long. You know what? This is an upside reach, but it's because I'm going to make it difficult for the quarterbacks, and I'm also going to make it difficult for you to advance the ball in the hands of your running back. I'll take Keon White.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is the big first surprise. I hear the upside, but sell me on it.
I feel like if your boy Judon is healthy this season, he has to be accounted for pretty much on every single snap, or at least all the ones where he's on the football field. And guys like Josh Uche, whose sack total went from 11.5 down to 3 last season, probably wasn't used properly at times as well, but definitely hurt for Judon being off the field for 3/4 of the season. And guys like Keon White, who looks like he's on the verge of having a Barmore versus Denver game that just changes and tilts the field toward him. I think he sees through and discovers the matrix this year, and once he does, becomes an absolute Sunday staple in the Callahan columns and on the Six Rings postgame show. And all of a sudden, his jersey starts moving in the pro shop. I just love it. He's just very serious about business, and that business is being an ass on the field and hitting people and hitting them hard. Besides, if I'm going to go with Barmore and Peppers, I need somebody else. I need someone else out there as well to take care of business.
Yeah, you got the all scary squad. I mean, aside from John Jones, who again, I want to be clear that I love. When I call him boring, it's like that's intentional.
And he's also a community award winner. Yes. We all love.
Excellent dude and very, very good football player. But Peppers, Christian Barmore, Keon White walk into a bar. If they wanted no one to leave, no one is leaving, and I don't.
Now you just can't leave.
I imagine Judon could be a part of that crew, but the rest of Hunter Henry's like smooth. David Andrews you don't want to mess with Georgia boy. No. But okay, I'm going to stay with offense here, and this is an upside pick. This is where I thought you were going when you said the word upside. Jalen Polk. I don't know how good Jalen Polk is going to be. I left him off my list of players that I think will be in the top 10 for the Patriots by the end of next season. It's not because I don't believe. I just need to see more of it first. And that's the problem with rookies is they haven't put on pads yet as NFL players. And they're going to face really good coverage, not to mention Sauce Gardner twice a year with the Jets. But he will have an opportunity. He's got the second-round pedigree. He can play inside and out. Who knows how the chemistry comes with Jacoby Brissett and Drake May. And I'd also be lying if I left out, I think I'm going to get a couple bonus points from the folks on Twitter when we post these and try to vote who had the better team. Jalen Polk scoring me some points here, even if not on the field.
Oh, no, for sure. I think he wins inside and out, 5 for $122 and a touchdown for Washington against Texas in a great national college football semifinal. Mm-hmm. Look, he was, for all we know, he has wide receiver one-ish potential because you're playing with Jalen McMillan and Rome Odunze as well, like one of the great recent wide receiver trios in college football history. Hell yeah. Like, I think he's going to be great. Now, I'm obviously going to have to go and get my guy a little bit later, hopefully before you get him as well, because you know what a card-carrying member I am of the Javon Baker fan club. But I'm not going to do it just yet because I do need to start shoring up my offensive line a little bit more for Ramondre. So I'm actually going to have to go with City So with this next pick.
It's a good pick. People are not going to recognize that. He was under consideration for me at the next spot.
Excellent second half of his 2023.
Yes. Very, very good. Sticking with that offensive line, so I was looking between So and a couple of other players, and this is tough. I'm going to wait on that. Devon Godchow, come on down.
Oh, okay.
This is, again, talk about the backbone of my defense. It's a player I know who he is. It's unspectacular. There are a couple others you're going, hey, why didn't you take that guy? We'll get to them in a minute. But that I feel good about because my defense now consists of Matt Judon, Devon Godchow, Christian Gonzalez, and Kyle Duggar. And I don't know. It's hard. It's basically 4 11s getting over a third of their starting defense.
Do you know who is just consistently underrated as a football player? And every defensive unit needs a captain, and everyone needs someone to tell everyone where to go. And he's been wearing the green dot for a while.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Juwan Bentley. I just think, like, speaking of, I just think he's a quality. He's a bit of a throwback because,
Yes.
he's not your hybrid, what they ultimately hope, I think, Marte Mapu turns into. He's just a fundamentally sound, good playmaker. He's where he needs to be more often than not. And I could use a little veteran leadership, maybe somebody to calm down Barmore or Peppers in case they start getting a little case of the hothead. So I will take Juwan Bentley.
So this player is actually, let's stop there. Bentley is interesting because he is not up for an extension anytime soon. He is under contract this year and next year by virtue of an extension he signed last summer. All
Two for
fair
19, I
numbers
think,
that'll
yeah.
only look better as the cap goes up. But there's no guaranteed money in his base salary next season, which is not uncommon. But it'll be interesting as someone who was drafted in like the old Belichick mold, 245-pound players, play in the middle, doesn't really play in the edge, run stuff for smart instincts, all that, sacrificing athleticism for that football IQ. He's still obviously a fit for Mayo's program, which is mostly built in there. But from a roster building standpoint with Elliott Wolf, I'm curious about him next season, which we don't have to talk about now. The real reason he's interesting is that his base salary, $6.75 million, is just a hair shy of Jahlani Tavai's new average annual value of $7 million, which puts them both around 18th to 20th highest paid linebackers in the league. I think that's a fair amount. And that was the last point I had in Tavai. Any of that interest you, or should we move on?
No, interesting. Yes. And if this is his ultimate, prove it or lose it swan song for the Patriots, then on a defense that's going to be on the field more often than the offense and having to hold their ground, what better audition potentially for a pay raise, an extension, or another job somewhere else than what he's going to get to do as the unofficial leader of the Pats 2024 defense.
Yeah, and if they did, move on from him a year ago, not advocating for this, just walking through plans that front offices make and have options laid out, it would be like 1.8 in dead money and $5.5 million in cap space, which they shouldn't need next year, but just something to keep in mind. Okay, my next player is injured. He did not participate in any of OTAs. He did not participate in minicamp. He told me on this podcast he expects to be ready for week 1, but we'll see because he's normally a very optimistic, sunny guy. Kendrick Bourne is going to be my wide receiver 1 or 2, depending on Jalen Polk, but at least I know that floor is a wide receiver 3 in any system, any year, provided he's healthy. And he was tracking for a career year last year, despite all of the disaster around him with that offense.
This is the one time, solid pick. I have always loved him. He's a vibe. He's a mood. He's a cheerleader. I think he's as good as a locker room guy can get. I really hope, because it was a clean tear, that he's going to be able to come back as of week 1 as well. There are no doghouses for him to get in. And when he's out, his numbers in 2021, the limited time in 22, and what he was getting run and usage wise last year before he got hurt in the game against Miami, they're always solid numbers. So for all we know, like, he could still be a wide receiver 1. All right. This is the one time I do you dirty.
Oh no.
Antonio Gibson, come on down. You are a member of Team Fitzy. Here's why. I saw what Alex Van Pelt did in Cleveland, or alongside Kevin Stefanski, who recently got a new deal. And I know that Stefanski was a huge fan. It was an ownership thing. I don't know why he became a scapegoat, even though the team had like 17 quarterbacks last year, a good offense, and made the playoffs with old man Flacco. They are going to try so hard to turn Stevenson and Gibson into Chubb and Hunt 2.0. And when both of those guys were healthy, that's what made the Cleveland Browns offense hum. Sometimes even if they deployed the two of them in the same backfield as well. Stevenson has surprising hands, sneaky soft hands. Gibson can occasionally take it between the tackles, but he was a wide receiver in college as well.
Right.
And given that the Pats are going to have to do everything under the sun, every bit of trickeration and bizarre formations to advance the football until they really get the hang of this new offense, the first non-Perkins, McDaniels, Weiss offense in 25 years, he's too valuable. And if he's going to make it almost halfway through the draft, I hate to do that to you, but I got to put him on my team.
Oh no, this is as much war as it is love, baby. We're fine. We're good. And JaMychal Hasty is on my list. He was down in tier 5, the last tier that I have of all of them.
I forgot about JaMychal.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You always love
That's what
to
I
hear
was going to
that
name my third kid if we had one.
When your opposing GM forgets about a player that's on your board. It's either a very good thing or a very bad one. It doesn't really matter because he's going to be starting for me.
If you ask 25 Pats fans right now, hanging out at any of the local pubs, eateries, or breweries like Vitamin C, where you and I do our best work 16 double dry hopped ounces at a time. And you said Michael Hasty, people would be like, was that guy that was, is he the guy that gave Michael Jackson the fentanyl? Like, no, he's actually a guy that might actually be, he might be on the Patriots guy. Everyone totally forgot about him.
You know what, though? He'll get a bump. Stepping back from the drug conversation, he'll get a bounce from having dreads. Like, you're an easily identifiable player. Sometimes it's a visor, sometimes it's a hair thing, sometimes it's the way that you wear your jersey, or a cool sleeve, or 2 red sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
He will be easily identifiable once they hit the preseason, hopefully for good reasons, but at very least for the aesthetic. That's what I want to talk about, the aesthetic bounce that he'll get from the fans. He's got long hair. I think he's got a really good chance to make the roster because he's a good pass catcher, had some good OTA practices, mini camp as well. But that's all I got for what will be my starting running back much later.
Are you taking Hasty here, or are you going to grab him later?
No. I mean, if you really want to screw me, fine. Kevin Harris, and we will bowling ball.
No, don't. I'm not. I can guarantee you, I will not be taking any more running backs.
So this is it's not that tough. But in a similar way, we'll kind of screw you. I'm going to triple down on my receivers, KJ Osborne.
That's okay. Speaking of dreads, there's someone else that'll be readily identifiable.
Yeah, I think they expect him to start. If he doesn't, it's no real skin off their back. But when I look at him versus Javon Baker, Juju, Taekwon, Kayshon Boutte, basically the receivers you now get to pick from, there's just one.
Yep.
Again, talk about positional value receiver. It's important. The gap in my mind from those players, Baker has it upside, but he hasn't practiced. Looks like he's dinged up. It's going to be a lot of ground to make up in a competitive room. And he was a 4th round pick. So KJ Osborne, I know what he is. I know what he can do. I feel very good about my receiving core.
His praises have been sung by a number of former teammates and Kirk Cousins and beyond, saying this is the kind of guy that if he, now that he won't be behind having Addison and a Jefferson, who are the best receiver in football and potentially a top 15 receiver in football to deal with, he may flourish. Great. He's going to have the opportunity. You want to come in and be a 1A for half a season until Kendrick Bourne, Javon Baker, or Jalen Polk takes that title and reigns from you? Go right ahead, my man. Solid pick for you. Speaking of somebody with potential receiver upside who also has special teams value, he's not gonna work the outside for me, but he actually played a much better. He was great in college, and he played a much better cornerback than people gave him credit for in the second half of his rookie season. Redshirt sophomore season. Marcus Jones, come on down. Team Fitzy with open arms.
Really good pick. I was looking here at our very unofficial depth chart as I'm scribbling my chicken scratch down. And I go, neither of us have an next corner. Marcus Jones is going to be a really good pick. And there you go. He was. But let's go rapid fire here because I think we got to speed this up. Josh Uche, I want him rushing opposite Matt Judon. He is here for me. I still don't really have any off-ball linebackers. But, I mean, look, he signed for 1 year, $3 million. Like, as far as the team goes, not Team Callahan, but the Patriots, unbelievable value. Even if he has the same season he did last year, he's exceeding the value on that contract. It's more than the sacks. It's the pressures. It's all this. I feel good about him.
Whew, my rest of my draft kind of hinges on this pick.
Oh,
you're not going to believe who I'm going to go with, but I can't leave my defensive line at a loss. I've already got Keon White rushing from the outside. I've got Peppers and Bentley backing me up. No, it's too early. I'm going to go with wow, this is a tough pick. You know what, actually? Give me the other corner. I'll take Alex Austin.
Okay. So are you thinking about matching my receivers there, or are you just looking at positional value and the guy who's kind of on the rise?
No, I'm just looking at I think this draft now is ultimately going to come down. Like, we're both going to have teams that Gerard Mayo or most Pats fans would be proud to watch or field in a scrimmage that doesn't exist. I'm just trying to figure out ways where I can have more units that'll like this may come down to if we judge it by running backs, wide receivers, offensive line, tight ends, defensive line, secondary, and linebackers. I'm trying to win the positional groupings battle 4-3 against you at this point.
Okay. So let me recap for the folks who are just listening, and then we will continue to go rapid fire here as I fill this back in. You have made now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 picks. I have made 11. Mm-hmm. This is Team Fitzy going from the top down. Ramondre Stevenson, Mike Onwenu, Christian Barmore, Pop Douglas, Jonathan Jones, Jabril Peppers, Keon White, Sidney Sow, Juwan Bentley, Antonio Gibson, Marcus Jones, Alex Austin. So you have loaded up in your secondary. You've got Bentley in the middle. You've got 2 defensive linemen, 2 offensive linemen, 2 running backs, and a receiver. My picks in order went Christian Gonzalez, Matt Judon, Hunter Henry, Jakumo Okorafor, Kyle Duggar, David Andrews, Jalen Polk, Devon Godchow, Kendrick Bourne, KJ Osborne, Josh Uche. And then my next pick here is what is this?
It's tough here.
It is tough.
There's 1 or 2 more. Think about it, and then we're just going to end up just grabbing guys.
Yeah. So I'll take Jahlani Tavai.
Can't go wrong.
He's the man of the.
As far as underrated Patriots of recent year go, he's not what Kyle Van Noy was when he came over. He's not Ninkovich, but he's good enough. You hear his name mentioned for the right reason as opposed to the wrong reason more often than not. Oh, good play by Tavai. Yeah, Jim. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he's a good football player.
Second most tackles. He had sacks. He had an interception, forced fumbles. Like, the guy's doing pretty well. Okay, so we have 13 picks apiece.
All right, just to make sure I get somebody who could be as dangerous to the locker room as he could be to opposing cornerbacks, I got to get my guy. If I say that I'm the unofficial card-carrying member, if my team is going to make people in wheelchairs stand up, the popcorn is ready. Javon Baker, you knew this was meant to be.
Yep. I think that's fair.
Was it like 22 yards a catch last season, 53 receptions, almost 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. Yes, he had a couple of drops early in the season. The hands got better as the season went on. And he just looks like if he can stay healthy, if he can keep his head screwed on straight, this is the boomer bust pick on the Patriots offense as well. And I love the fact that Elliott Wolf said, yes, I understand this is a risk. Yes, this guy may blow up in my face, but yes, this guy may also turn into an absolute stud as well. So Belichick would have never made this pick, and I effing love it.
There were other teams that had him off the board, but we can table that conversation. I mean, we've already really had it, right? It's a lot of weight to do with all these rookies.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to gouge you here because we established 22 rounds, 11 starters in offense and defense, but we share a quarterback, so we're going to have one backup. It could be any place. And the one backup I've chosen is Austin Hooper, my backup tight end.
Ooh, you just Gibson to the S out of me. Good for you.
Yep. So that's it.
Had to.
I have 3 receivers, 2 tight ends, 0 running backs. So we're going to be going with 0-2 personnel. The rare
what formation is that? I mean, look, I got Baker. I'm going to have Baker. Baker's my big guy. He's my X on the outside. I got my the Z with my Pop Douglas. Mm-hmm. I'll have the Chubb and Hunt out there. The Ocean State job lot version of Chubb and Hunt with Gibson and Ramondre. So you know what I'm not taking him yet, but I'm sure people will see what I'm going to do with the rest of my offense. All right, next pick. I need a center, and he has guard versatility. I'll take Antonio Mafi.
Antonio Mafi. I like it. Don't love it, but so you want him at center or right guard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Center.
Okay, for me, that leaves me going Marte Mapu, second safety. Feel very good about that.
Good pick.
I've said it before. I think people are overlooking who's the last safety available. Jalen Hawkins profiles more as a free safety, but Marte Mapu with Kyle Duggar, I like it.
Daniel Ekuale.
Oh, he's also someone I think is being overlooked.
He is when healthy, underrated. He finds the quarterback, and he finds the quarterback at a very team friendly price as well. Not that matters, but I just like him. Always been a guy that I've liked. Big fan.
Okay, Ekuale, Mafi. Who did I just take? I went with Marte Mapu.
Yep,
very good. Okay, now I will take Sione Takitaki.
Shit. I mean, shoot. Oh, whatever.
You can swear on the pod. It's fine. Come on, it's the middle of summer. We're talking about backup linebackers.
You probably weren't going to grab Ekuale, and I should have grabbed Taki already. So, yeah. All right. My line's going to be a little slower. It'll hit a little harder than yours. I'll take my guy, the nicest man on the New England Patriots, if not the NFL, Dietrich Wise.
Really good pick. Were you thinking about him earlier?
No, but I did want to get him on my team because while it's not going to win me points in the ultimate Twitter debate, As far as character goes, I don't think they come any higher than Dietrich Wise.
Great.
I am probably going to win the Ron Burton Service Award with John Jones and Dietrich Wise.
I think that's fair. I will take Nick Leverett at one guard spot. Let's call it left guard.
Okay.
This is where I need you. I already teased it. I took Nick
You
Leverett.
can't mention it.
This is your moment to shine.
You can't show the gun on the table in the second scene in the movie and not bring it back at the end. No red herrings here in this draft. All right, then I got you know what? All right, let's see. I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Layden Robinson.
Smart. Dick.
So I think. See, one of the things that I wanted was the New England Patriots not to be beholden to any of the draft picks made in previous year or decade.
Mm-hmm.
If Elliott Wolf and company wanted to rebuild the line differently, if they think they're underperformers like Cole Strange, if they're whoever, Jake Andrews, etc., fine. And if you want to get somebody who plays the position with ferocity and violence the way Layden Robinson does, and he's going to be competing for guard time because who knows what they think of Mafi or so, or where on when it was going to play, I'll take a chance on him. I think he's another upside guy on Team Fitzy.
Okay, this is another upside pick because I have the last two players in my tier 3, which is, hey, grab them or you're effed. And there are two of them. I'm going to take Caden Wallace, 3rd round rookie at right tackle. Okay. I'm going to play him at his natural position. What do you think about that?
At right tackle?
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Someone in the know who has a personal relationship with the Pennsylvania State offensive line coach said, there's a reason why I never played him at left tackle. And I'll just say that. And that's sourced.
Ooh. It wasn't Olu Fashanu, which was the reason that the Patriots sourced to the world after they picked him.
Yeah, I don't know. That the Wallace pick, that's going to be one of those like, hey, Elliot, you had a great draft, but you may want to mulligan on that one. Or Elliot Wolf seeing the potential of Chuck Sikorafor and Caden Wallace. Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll take Jaheim Bell. I need a tight end of some kind, so I'll take Bell.
Oh, those are some Twitter points. Right
Where are you with that? Where are you with that one? Do you think he's going to be a sneaky good pick, or is that going to be a, well, you're there. Hopefully one day you work out.
So some of the, I think it was GPS tracking data, which does a lot of the over-expected stats, right? Based, where is the player? How close to the defenders? How fast is he moving? All of those variables put together, the equation says you should get X yards after the catch. He was a king, despite not testing particularly well as like this elite athlete, at getting yards after the catch. I don't know if that's vision on the field. I don't know if it's a combination of acceleration, long speed, short area quickness, but the GPS numbers supposedly favored him way more in this area than the traditional scouting methods. And so I don't know if that translates. He is very much, young rookie like Mike Gesicki, who obviously didn't work out last year, and this is a different offense and yada yada. But I want to see more. I'm not, it's such a boring take, but there was nothing from the statistical profile. His tape was fine that made me go, okay, this is going to be great, right? Like his role is going to be tight end 3. And I don't think they're going to use him split out as a big slot receiver because they have a ton of those, and that's what Mike Gesicki was supposed to do last year. And now they have more with Polk and Baker here.
Fair enough. All right, last couple picks.
Yeah, here we go. I don't remember how many we have, but I think we should just do this, and I will keep going. So for me,
this will be your 18th pick.
Yeah, this 18th. Okay, thank you. I will take, because I'm looking at what you have, right? And you have your defensive line pretty set. You've got one linebacker. I've got 2. I'm good at there. You're loaded up on corners. You're going to take Jalen Hawkins at some point. We are fighting over a right guard. You know what I might do is I just talked about putting Caden Wallace at his old position. I might kick him into right guard, and that would leave me with Calvin Anderson at right tackle. Is this fair or foul, though? Because I won't do it because you should have
– Oh, no. By all means.
Okay. Do you know who you're going to put at left tackle then?
I sure don't. But that's my problem. But that's my problem, not yours.
Okay. All right. Well, there it is.
All right. Okay.
So this is pick number 19 for you.
Pick number 19. Am I allowed to play people out of position or no?
I mean, I just did.
Okay.
The Supreme Court has ruled.
Then I'm going to take Isaiah Bolden.
Oh, damn it. Okay, so you're putting him at safety.
Yep. They don't have a free. You know what? Here's the thing. I don't know if it's going to be, you could say Hawkins, Marcellus Dial. You could say veteran to be named later. This is only Bolin's second year. Thank goodness he doesn't seem too long-term scarred from that scary injury last year in that awful preseason game against the Packers. I don't know. Someone is eventually going to have to get switched over to free safety. And while he does have more cornerback upside on my team, come on down. I'll give you a shot at FS.
You know who has played a little safety and a lot more in college was Marcus Jones. And if I'm
Did you
you, I
really?
at least consider Marcus Jones at safety, John Jones in the slot. Now, that does leave you with Isaiah Bolden and Alex Austin outside. But as far as experience lining up, that could be there. I would probably keep John Jones outside and make Alex Austin or Isaiah Bolden work on the slot, but that's just me.
Yeah. All right. How many we got here? 1, 2, 3,
All
4,
right.
5,
I will take Jalen Hawkins in. I'm running a 3 safety system. I need 1 outside corner left. Thankfully, Marco
Wow.
Wilson has me a little bit more optimistic than I would expect. There are a couple players here that I think, I need to pencil in. So that was pick number 19 for me. I have 2 picks left that I have to make. I have 3 picks left. Okay, so I have my 20, 21, and 22nd pick all lined up.
All right. I'm obviously going to have to, I'm going to have to take Tyrone Wheatley.
Okay. Great dude. Really love that guy.
Do you?
Yep. So here are my last 3 picks.
Okay.
Armon Watts is going to be a defensive tackle. Now you.
Let's see. I will take at this point. I will take Tyquan Thornton.
Okay. There's one defensive player who got a better than expected contract from the Patriots last year. Basically re-signed. Outside linebacker who is better than we're treating him here.
Way better than this. Oh man, it is going to be hard as hell to get outside on you with Taki Tavai, and now you taking Jennings from me.
I'm not though.
Steal.
So because look, I have Judon and Uche on the outside. I know Tavai will. I don't know what we're gonna do, but like Uche's there. Tavai and Taki will be off ball. And I need a corner and I need a running back. Like those spots are blank. So my corner now is going to be Marco Wilson. This is my 21st pick.
Oh, so that means I can take Jennings? I love it.
Yes. And then I have JaMychal Hasty.
And that's it.
Oh, you need a right guard. And then I'll read this off for everyone who was just going, please, should I fast forward to the end? The answer is not yet because I'm about to help you get there.
Wait, I have Wheatley at tackle and I have Onwenu at tackle. I have Andrews, and Mafi.
Oh, Andrews. Okay.
Yep.
So you are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I got 22.
11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. Beautiful. Okay. Here is, I think we're ready for everyone. Team Fitzy, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Starting quarterback, Drake May. Running backs, Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson. Wide receivers, Pop Douglas, Javon Baker, Tyquan Thornton. Tight end, Jaheim Bell. Offensive line, left tackle, Tyrone Wheatley Jr., left guard, Sidy Sow. Center, Antonio Mafi. Right guard, Jake Andrews. Right tackle, Mike Onwenu. Defensive line, Christian Barmore, Keon White, Daniel Quale, Dietrich Wise. Linebackers, Juwan Bentley and Anthony Jennings. Cornerbacks, John Jones, Marcus Jones, Isaiah Bolden, Alex Austin. Safety with a partner TBD to be named later, Jabril Peppers. And that could be Marcus Jones. It could be Isaiah Bolden. Did you decide on that?
Yeah, and my backup is Layden Robinson because somebody along that offensive line.
You did take Layden Robinson. Okay, so you didn't need a right guard. Did you want Jake Andrews to be your backup there, or?
You know what? Actually, put Layden Robinson in and Jake Andrews as the backup because he can play guard and center. Yeah.
Okay, smart. Okay, so my starting team: Team Callahan, quarterback Drake May, running back JaMychal Hasty, going for 20 touchdowns all purpose. Wide receivers: Jalen Polk, KJ Osborne, Kendrick Bourne. Tight ends: Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper. Hooper's my backup. Left tackle: Chuck Okorafor. Left guard: Nick Leverett. Center: David Andrews. Right guard: Caden Wallace. Right tackle: Calvin Anderson. Defensive line: Matt Judon, Devon Godchow, Armon Watts, Josh Uche. Linebackers: Jahlani Tavai, Sione Takitaki. Corner: Christian Gonzalez. and Marco Wilson. Safeties, Kyle Duggar, Marte Mapu, Jalen Hawkins. So you're right. You are going to be running right behind Mike Onwenu, lined up across from good pal, college teammate, pro teammate, Josh Uche, and averaging 18 yards per carry. Congratulations to you, sir, with Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson. However, I feel pretty good about Christian Gonzalez versus the outside receivers. And then, your corners with John Jones, Marcus Jones, Alex Austin versus my group is going to be fun as well. So I think this, all told, like pretty balanced out.
Yeah, I think so as well. And the nice thing again is, even though I know you would have preferred to have had Antonio Gibson as your RB1, once you guys finally start stacking the line and shifting defensive coverage over that way to stop Dion Wenu and other fat guy freight train from giving Ramondre 9 yards a carry, when I fake it to him and dump it to Gibson, maybe that's how I'm going to have to henpeck you, because it's going to be tough to get it to matriculate the ball downfield against Gonzo in your secondary.
Yeah. A lot of fun, though. I know it always drags a little bit at the end. Folks on YouTube, of course, can just kind of read this off. I just read this off for everybody else. This has been fun. I'm curious how the poll is going to go. Again, you get points for the receivers, the tight ends, like the buzzy players on defense, without judging whether your team is better than mine or mine is better than yours. How do you think the Twitter poll is going to go?
I'm going to be honest. I don't usually think I'm going to win. I think I'm going to win.
Really?
But I think in the end, I think I'll squeak a dub out against you. Now, this might be my first dub against you in the third annual, but here's a fun one to end on.
Yes.
If I may, if you could take one player of mine and I could do one, who's the one player of mine that you wish you had? Because I can tell you square and straight up, I wish I had Hunter Henry. That's all.
This is a great question. I think my answer, just because of a gap in the positional depth, would be Ramondre Stevenson. That's even as a running backs don't matter as much as we still think guy. Marcus Jones is a really close second, though, for me. I don't have anyone to play the slot. Like, hey, Marco Wilson, congrats. Like, you are now. You've been hired.
Pop Douglas might feel like it's really just going to be Mondre Gibson, Douglas, Javon Baker to stop. Don't you dare throw a fit. You're going to be decoy city on Gonzo all day, because I'm just going to henpeck the shit out of your line, your line in the center of the field.
Well, yeah, and we can't just sit in zone, because then he'll run those little jerk routes, and then that's exactly what we'll look like. Or maybe we'll have Gonzo shadow him. What am I talking about? He's just going to pick him up and he's going to cradle him like a little baby teammate that he is. Okay, we got to go.
By the way, if I ever end up not a part of the Six Rings and Football Things podcast, and I enjoy doing that with Andy Hart and whoever else jumps in, I think the jerk route is absolutely going to be the name of my next football podcast.
There you go. Very fitting. Read him, follow him, listen to him. The Six Rings and Things podcast over at WEEI. Fitzy has also been running card shows. He's at every brewery that you could find. Of course, at Gillette Stadium on game days. My guy, I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate you coming on and continuing the longest running tradition in Pats Interference history, which will not continue without you. So if I ever injure you in any kind of way, you know how to just not show up for this, and we'll be square.
Much like reading a Callahan piece or reaching for a well-crafted New England IPA, this draft, never a bad time had. Thank you, sir.
You got it. Oh, real quick. Whoever wins the Twitter poll owes the other 6-pack. How about that?
Deal.
Or the reverse.
Or a 4-pack of their choice.
Yeah, whoever loses. Yeah, 4-pack. There we go.
Got it.
Well, we have expensive.
Deal.
All right. Thanks, pal.
See ya.